Welcome to Old Guy Tech,
the OGT.TV recording studio.
Technology for the rest of us.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Opinion versus Opinion. I'm Rob Charney. That's John Manajastic. On the floor is Jonathan Charney, kibitzing when he feels like it. So, John, we were thinking a little bit about talking about this Edward Snowden guy, who is the so-called whistleblower on the NSA snooping into everything.
Well, you know, and you know, we ran out of time because I was vetching about all the other issues in my life before we got on. We could talk about Snowden, but I'm more concerned about the information, because you and I, for weeks, have talked about, you know, they want to read your email, they want to read your text messaging, and I mean, I'm okay with Snowden. But that's an individual who broke the information. Yeah, well, I'm more concerned with,
I think he's an individual that confirmed what we already thought. How's that? We knew.
Yeah, and I think it's more important that, and I'll just share this with you. Snowden's an individual. He took off to Hong Kong. I don't know who he is. Not a lot of people know a lot of things about him. He only worked for the NSA in that job for 90 days before he spilled the beans, which is, God, if a guy, I mean, he's being paid $225,000 a year, living in Hawaii, obviously an inherently intelligent young man. I don't think he even has a college degree, but as you know, in IT, etc., you know, if you're very bright and you're a good hacker, even to this day, you can get paid well. And somebody was saying there's like 1.3 million people with a top secret security clearance. You know, he said he could tap President Obama if he had a valid email address.
Just so you know, on this so-called top secret, you know, there's multiple levels of top secret. There's top secret, and then there's really top secret, and then there's super duper top secret. And having worked out of the Pentagon as a contractor for a short period of time, I know how that works. And I don't know what level this guy had.
Level enough to find out, to know that he could hack anybody, and he could get, you know, as to the actual issue. And I think is it Section 1.5 or Section 5 of the, I mean, if I was to find something good out of this, and I don't so much care about him, his histrionics of going to Hong Kong and Putin offering him asylum maybe in Russia because nobody else will offer him asylum. I should share with you what the Australians are saying, what the rest of the world is saying about this infringement. I mean, and as I've said to you time and time again, I'm more concerned about my Fourth Amendment rights than any other amendment rights that I have. Right. Obviously, I have no Fourth Amendment rights, nor do you. Well, there is no.
You're right. You're absolutely right. In the show this afternoon, we talked a lot about that, and to show you the way our sheriff looked at it, he says, "Hey, I have to get a warrant when I want to tap a phone. What's with this NSA just being able to tap anything, anytime, and anytime they want? I mean, he feels just like I do, but I think just like you do. What are they doing with this information? And I'm hearing all these claims that they've already stopped numerous terrorist attacks by doing this computerized sniffing for so-called secret words like bomb."
Well, technically, supposedly, okay, it was any American or foreigner that it's not numbers, it's not tapping. They keep saying if we want to actually tap the conversation, we have to go and get a warrant. and it was not supposed to be between American citizens. It was numbers that came from outside the United States that may or may not be identified. I don't know that it was full on tapping. And there are an awful lot of people on the Republican side and the Democratic side that's saying, hey, and even the president saying you had a Hobbesian choice after 9/11. If you wanted to be secure, you had to give up a little bit of your freedom and your privacy.
We're back to the Patriot Act situation here, and as we have both agreed, we went blindly into this Patriot Act. Rah, 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 they bombed us, so we're going to give up our some of our rights that fall under the Fourth and the First. And this guy, all he really did, what he's saying from the information that I'm reading, is that what happens is the automated system catches whatever key phrases, however the algorithm works, and it flags it. Then it actually goes to a human set of eyes that then looks at it. And the human decides, okay, it's fake, it's nothing, or yes, this could be something. And that's what they're saying is actually happening.
Well, but again, the way I understand it, and I don't know that he, I'm going on their explanation, not his. I don't care about Snowden. I want to he contributed to Ron Paul, big deal. And some of his positions, the problem was that exacerbates the situation, that he fled the country under, they're going to put, and there are people saying put him in jail. He's a criminal. He's not a whistleblower. There are huge questions to be answered. I'm not, and he's basing his stuff on WikiLeaks. I mean, here they, throw the private in like Guantanamo and don't charge him with anything. And more and more people, are saying we're a turnkey away from a 1984 and a police state.
Mm-hmm.
That great CBS TV show, Persons of Interest.
Right.
It's almost like, I don't know if you've ever watched that.
One of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I mean, I love it too. It's extremely well written, and the concept is just like, I never really thought it was total imagination. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I never did.
You think there's a little bit of truth in the show.
And the stories are well. I just love when people try to kill this guy, or he takes the Russian's dog, and I mean, it's just great stuff. But
it's a good
point of the matter is, I think. And it has bothered me time and time again. It bothered me when the Patriot Act went into effect. And it bothers me that Obama says that, transparency, but he keeps supporting the renewal of the Patriot Act.
Right.
And if anything comes out of it, if Snowden will have accomplished anything, we will finally sit down and say, what the hell is going on here? We need, and there are senators, there are people in the government that have said it's time to review the Patriot Act. You can't just renew it helter skelter. It's been in effect now for 12 years. They caught a bomber in New York. They certainly didn't get. It's no good for catching the guy in Santa Monica that blows up our alma mater and runs amok, shooting people in Santa Monica. It certainly doesn't work on that level. Although this person had a troubled past, and I'd like to get into that a little bit. It's a little bit local and a little bit personal with you and I.
Right.
But the bottom line of the whole thing is the Patriot Act needs to be seriously reviewed, and we have to have some restoration of our Fourth Amendment right to privacy. Because if they can, and we've had this conversation before, PG&E has got a meter with an FCC license on it, on your house, my house.
That's right.
They're broadcasting information about what's going on at your house.
Oh yeah. Should you have a spike in power usage? You think they don't take a note of that somehow?
Oh, if you've got grow lamps, they know.
Oh, they know.
Hey,
I had one. I had a personal one. They were working on the water system, and they overpressurized the pipes leading into our system here, and it blew our connection. We didn't catch it at first. Took a little while because it happened in the middle of the night. And we get down there, and there's hundreds of gallons of water just flowing downstream, and of course the water company comes driving right up saying, "Hey, why is your water spiking so high?"
Right.
They knew right away. How did they know? Because just like PG&E, they have a little meter out there that sends out information.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm as paranoid as the next guy.
Yeah.
I don't want something transmitting information from my house, because when you're dealing with electrical systems, I mean, we're about ready to have the panel replaced at the house here. You know what the biggest expense is?
The permit?
PG&E.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The local permits, and PG&E has to turn it off. Then they have to prove everything.
Right.
The city electric you've already got a permit. It's been inspected, but PG&E's got to look at it to turn it off and turn it on.
Right.
They want to make sure
the
licensed electrician
so that you don't bypass that meter. They want to make sure that meter's doing its job.
That's right. And look at how many people got put out of work as meter readers.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but nobody said anything about that, did they?
No.
Snowden is a character to me. The guy from The Guardian and The Guardian is a liberal newspaper in England. But this guy, the guy that broke the news, is kind of a muckraker anyway. And now Snowden's latest revelations is we've been hacking China and Hong Kong since 2009.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
And like China's not been hacking it, and Korea's not. Everybody in the world's trying to hack us, and we're bad guys because we hacked them.
That's no information that we didn't already know. So all this is doing is bringing this to light to the people that have either chosen to not get involved or even care about the fact that this is happening, that their personal information is being, just like your job search talking about. They want all your information. They want to know what you're doing every minute of every day, and that's what's happening. All of our data, our water, our electricity, our internet usage, our email, our texting, our cell phone calls, our landline calls. Every form of communication is being watched in some manner and somehow.
And as you well know, and I'll tell you from my job search, you cannot. I mean, look, I cut the mustache in case somebody wants to interview me and wants a photo of me. Okay, I think it makes no difference. But when people have piercings and tattoos and he's got a big mustache, he's abnormal. And I look at the workforce of tomorrow and I go, no, if I have a big mustache, I'm still very normal compared to what you're looking at. And kids, making well, only get tats to here so I can cover them up when I'm. But the thing is, they're constantly mining you for information, and you can no longer walk in, present yourself, say, "I'm looking for employment. May I fill out an application?" Because they don't know how to do that.
Right. The
HR and we have. And Rob, and again, I got something from Network Solutions again. We couldn't take $3.99 from you for something I don't understand. Did you commit to a $3.99 a month expense? I don't know that I did. My email still works. I paid them a whole lot of money. It was arduous. I dealt with the only people I dealt with in the United States were the operators that sent me off to the Philippines.
Right.
To people that were non-conversive and non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And then I get a bill for $3.99 from them. I don't know why. We have turned so much this supposed and And you know, you do this for a living, Rob, and you do a good job of it. But it's this supposed labor-saving device, not so much. And
Yeah,
it's
I would
cost
never
us a
cause
great
it.
deal of personal freedom and information to have these devices that can do so much for us. But it's all intrusive,
It's a
is
bit
what
of
they're
a.
doing for us.
It turned into a two-edged sword. I mean, you know, the wild west of the internet when it first hit, and everything that was going on. That was an amazing period of time.
Like old eBay,
Yeah.
where you could just sell something.
Like old eBay, or you know, the very early days of the internet when we first had Mosaic, and then had AOL bought out Netscape, and Netscape was your browser, and the early days of getting on the internet. That was wild and woolly. That was kind of fun. It's not so much fun anymore. You know, if it's done right, it's informational. And I have a thought on your $3.95 per month fee. That's on your personal domain. Do you actually have a website, or is it just parked?
No, I mean, I have a website.
Okay, because a lot of times what they do is that if you don't actually have an active website, they charge you a parking fee.
No, I have an active website.
Okay, all right.
I think I do. Anyway, I'm going to call them tomorrow.
Yeah, I would check and see. I mean, see what's going on, because it could be that. It could be there's a company called SiteLock. Is a company that looks at all your data inside your website to see if anybody's got malicious code.
No, this was from Network Solutions.
Well, understand that Network Solution does a partnership with SiteLock.
Oh, I know.
As do many,
Everybody,
so.
What they've done is they've, just like Yahoo now is buying up, Tumblr and all these acquisitions. They're all acquiring one another.
Right.
Right. But to what end and to what value of us? The woman CEO of Yahoo goes, and we're not going to screw Tumblr up.
Right.
And like 2 weeks later, ads show up that nobody. Oh no, Tumblr was planning on doing that anyway. I don't even access the service. I'm becoming very, and folks, don't freak out. This is a real word. I'm becoming very niggardly about giving my information to anybody. But by withholding my information, by not 100 times a day, name, address, telephone number, password, because all of these job sites are all interconnected.
Right.
And then they all spam you. And then every time you go in, whether you've just established a pass, I did this tonight. 4 times the same thing came out. I went through the same cycle. And then I had to agree to give information to, I said I have a postgraduate degree, which I do. The teaching credential is post-baccalaureate. It's another year of school. And they're, you go to this online college. I have a bachelor's degree and a post-baccalaureate degree. And if you'd give me a freaking job, I'd get a real master's degree. But I'm not going to go into any more student debt than I already have to get something that probably is going to make me even more useless than I was before.
Yeah. I understand exactly. But we're talking about to get to the crux of the matter is that we're talking about the fact that our personal information really isn't so personal.
It's not personal at all.
We're at a state where all our information is available to virtually every law enforcement agency, should it be, on the marketing side, to every job site, may it be, or if you buy from Amazon. I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon. I'm spammed 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day from Amazon alone.
Oh, yeah. Hey, new deals for you, buddy.
And I love the way they figured out what you've looked at, right? They go, I like watches, so they say, here, hey, guess what? Watches are on sale today. Come look at all these watches. Or it might be a tool, and look at all these things, and it just is amazing.
I am a total watch freak. I have boxes of them.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Casio Edifice watch that I bought for that everybody thinks cost a lot. It's the most popular watch in Europe.
Uh-huh.
I bought one 7 years ago on the web because I was out cruising. And I went, that's a nice looking watch. So I bought an edifice a long time ago, and now it's like there's the other one, but that one's years old, and they're a great deal. Most popular watch in Europe. And then actually I signed up for one of these survey deals today, and there was an entire page on watches.
Oh, yeah.
But the only name that wasn't on the list was Rolex.
Oh.
Patek Philippe, Movado. I mean, answer me a question, just a watch question. Movado, Value, 7750 self-winding day-date watch. It's a Movado, right?
Yeah.
Real deal. You can buy $500-$600. I bought that for $4 and change. Whereas as well, a Value 70-70-50, ladies and gentlemen, that's a self-winding 25 jewel chronometer, made by one of the best Swiss watchmaking companies. It's all owned by Swatch now, anyway. But if it was a Rolly, which is basically, I mean, I have two watches and I have a German guy here in town, and I took one of them. I was wearing one day, and he, may I look at your watch? It's a Gruen, but it was early in the Chinese watch manufacturing, so it's got a 28-24 25 jewel self-winding movement in it, folks. Basically a Rolex. Rolex has outsourced to ETA for the movement before. I bought both of them for less than $50.
Oh, geez.
Movements are worth $250 on their own.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an actual Oyster perpetual.
I have one.
Gold. I was offered about 10 years ago. I was offered so much money for the watch. I went, you're stupid crazy here. Have the watch. It didn't mean that much to me. I mean, really. The gold president, my father actually had an 18-karat gold president, and then he had the 1954 Oyster perpetual date. My brother got God rest his soul. I said, you can have the 18-karat gold one. I want the 1954 Rolex. Hey,
and they're now making a model that looks like it. It doesn't have that fluted bezel on it. It's just a thing.
Yeah, this thing. Guess what? We actually have 7 people watching us right now. They probably don't want to hear us talk about watches.
Maybe they do. Let's get back to our Fourth Amendment rights of privacy.
Yeah. What, Jonathan? What do you got, Jonathan?
I wanted to say something you were saying about how Amazon spams you, but it's not really spam when it's a service. If you're looking at it...
Yeah. That's the technical way around it. I understand.
No, but if you're looking at it, if you look at it and go, oh, that's a really cool watch, you want to click on it, that's the service you signed up for. It's something you want.
Yeah, okay, so it's semantics, all right? I still call it spam because, they're taking a service. In other words, I was looking at watches, and it seems like every week they have a watch sale, and I get an email from them and say, hey, Rob, look at all these watches. You too can have, and I understand that. So what the hell is that?
I got spammed this morning by them for a Casio that I bought for my roommate 2 years ago for his birthday in December, and this was a stainless steel one.
Yeah.
Solar power.
So what that means? We'll turn this round back to our topic about the fact that our information, our personal information, is being used, and in this case, mined for even our shopping habits. Now, we knew this was going to happen. This had been talked about a long time ago. Even to the point where in the beginning for a while there, they had chips on your cart in the market.
Oh, yeah.
And they know every place that you stop. So they can address exactly what it is they know you're going to put in the cart. Jonathan, what's up?
If you're complaining about that, don't use your Subway Club card, your Safeway Club card.
I didn't complain about that. I'm just saying that's not a complaint. I'm saying that be aware of the fact that all of your so-called secret information isn't secret. For instance, if you're my age, John's age, and you look at your original Social Security card, on that card it says not to be used as ID.
Never could.
Well, that's not the case anymore.
Hey,
the new
I went around with Network Solutions for days trying to email because I don't have a utility bill. I don't because, right, I rent a room.
Right.
And finally I called them and I had emailed them 3 times. They said they never got it. So I finally said, I need to talk to a supervisor. I'm wasting my time here. She asked me for the last 4 of my Social Security. Everything was done.
Well, that's the point. It went from something that was not supposed to be ID to something that everybody uses now as ID, including the government's changing the actual Social Security card, because if you look at it now, it doesn't say that anymore. So that's...
Brother, your military ID number starting with Vietnam became your Social Security number.
I know.
It became ID. That's what's on your dog tag.
Right. No, I know, but but okay, so every part of our lives is Big Brother. If we want to go look at the Orwellian theory, 1984, Big Brother, it's here, right? We said it was here 10 years ago. Well, it's here now more than ever. How many? Let's go even further. What I really like is the topic of cameras at stoplights.
They're all over the place.
What a money-raking business that has turned
now,
into.
Now, in L.A., and the funny thing is, we have intersection cameras in Bakersfield that generate a ticket.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, had them, and they outlawed them.
Well,
L.A. doesn't use them. That doesn't preclude Santa Monica from using them, Inglewood from using them, Beverly Hills from using them. It's the city of Los Angeles.
Right.
And initially, you know as well as I do, when they were first installed, they were had to be turned off statewide because the provider participates in the revenue
they get a portion
of the violation.
That's
and
right.
they still do.
They still do. That's how they make their money. And it's just so now we literally have a camera on almost every street corner. We've known for many years, Great Britain, of course, is famous for having CCTV everywhere, in particular in London and in the bigger cities. Everywhere is constantly watched.
All over Bakersfield, not in these controlled intersections. There are cameras which on top of them look like they have an old TV antenna on top of them, right? They are not there except to, right? There are cameras everywhere.
Everywhere. So...
And we've not objected. For any number of reasons, there's no objection.
For me, all right, I look at it this way. My fingerprints are on file. My security clearance is on file. My driver's license is on file. My life is basically an open book. I've been, I go, okay, what do you want to know about me? You already know everything there is to know. But boy, I don't know if I was to do it again, if I would want to be as free with all the information as I put an awful lot of trust into the government with this information.
For good reason, I think. I had to have, and it comes up more and more and more, now. I had to go through LifeScan to become a teacher.
Right.
And the lady that did it for me, I actually was in the area, so I stopped by the next day, and she looked at me and she said, "Yeah, you're clear." And she's looking at me really incredulous. Looked at her and I said,
that
"Yeah,
never
I
happens?
know, just never got caught."
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, she was just like, you didn't look like somebody that was going to just go through this. And there again, book and a cover. I mean, now.
Yeah.
And kids, and Jonathan's entry into it. Yeah, but I was talking to a guy, he's like 20 years old. And he's talking about, boy, they're going to be able to tell me a quicker way to get to work if there's traffic jams. And I'm going, do you want to give them that much information? Oh, yeah. Right? It's making my life easier. Well, is it really making your life? I mean, and for you and I, what we thought were labor-saving, time-saving devices now, I mean, we're being mined constantly. I get watch ads. I get I got so many people. If I would have had $150 last night, I would have bought a new watch because they sent it to me, and man, it was bitching.
I don't even want to look at them. I can't. I'm like you. I have a. You can ask Jonathan. I have a drawer full of watches.
It's a big ass drawer too.
I don't know what it is. It's something to do with our generation. I think it has something to do with our generation because I know a number of people our age, same way, kind of watch crazy. I got a friend that is so watch crazy. He came into. We were having a meeting. He came to the meeting the other day, and he had a watch on his wrist. You know, the big thing now with watches is they're like hockey pucks. They're huge.
50 millimeters.
He's coming in with this. What the hell are you doing? You need something more to tell what time it is? And then I asked, okay, smarty pants, tell me what the date is. Well, I can't read the date on the watch.
No, let me put my glasses on.
You gotta get your reading glasses on. One of these watchmakers is gonna wake up that us old guys need to see a huge label. That's why I get these. I'm going with these watches that are analog digital. They're both, and that way I can see the date. But,
well, and now one of the big things. I mean, Shop NBC and Invicta have made a
two people
fortune
in
our
watch talk. We lost two people.
I'm sorry. Now let's end this on our friend Snowden, and then it's in the news, but I would like to talk a little bit about what happened in Santa Monica last week.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that because we all know, to wrap up the NSA thing. I don't think any of us were particularly surprised. I mean, if you were surprised, you're living in another planet or another country. So it didn't surprise me, and I think it was only the tip of the iceberg as far as what he really said is going on. And okay,
I will give you an addendum to that, and I didn't go look at the body count, but there are a number of senators and congressmen that were vehemently opposed to background checks for guns, but are 100% supportive of NSA mining us through our telephone,
right,
for information much greater than what background checks would have been to purchase a gun. And that's the one that makes me kind of scratch my head. Because at the end of the day, who needs a freaking background check?
Well, yeah, I really have to, wonder. They're collecting all this data, and they made the claims. Who is this guy? Real quick, I want to go stay with this story for a minute. The guy that is the. Hold on. Army General Keith Alexander.
Yeah.
He said in response to Senator Patrick Leahy that he believed the program under Section 215 of the Patriot Act was critical to helping the intelligence community corroborate information on possible threats. Quote, unquote.
Hobbs, how much freedom are you willing to give up to be secure? Life is wicked, cruel, and nasty. If you want to be protected, you have to give up some freedom to make sure that the state protects you.
And that's exactly why they are so much in favor of all this. They really truly believe that they're going to be able to save us by mining all this information. Now, we have no way of knowing how many times they have been able to thwart a terrorist act. 1, 20, 100, I don't know. I don't have a clue. But it still comes back to, what's your comfort level with all that information on you being available by just about any company, state government, federal government, your school districts, everything.
Oh, to be employed, besides having to go through a drug test or whatever they want you to do to get there, I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm going to kind of move this to the Santa Monica thing by saying this.
Let's go.
Okay? Because there is that issue between guys that voted against background checks for guns, but they're okay with everything you do, everything you buy, everything you talk about, you text or you email being available to the government.
Right.
So I'm going, remember the dumb guy that said, I'm more worried about my Fourth Amendment rights long before I'm worried about my Second Amendment rights. Because if I have the Fourth Amendment rights, my Second Amendment rights are insulated because I have a right to privacy. Okay, and Rob and I are from Santa Monica. We grew up there. We went to high school there. I think you two probably attended Santa Monica College when you were there. Yes or no? I don't.
Yes.
Probably. We all
did.
It was almost a rite of passage.
That's right.
Okay? And my roommate, who's considerably more conservative than I did last night, said, if there would have been one good guy with a gun, it all would have been done. And I go, they stopped this guy. He did kill 5 people, or 4 people, and himself. But all things considered, that they got him within 15 minutes of him starting his rampage. And they don't say what a law enforcement agency took him down, whether it was the Santa Monica College Police, Santa Monica Police, the Highway Patrol, the LA County Sheriff. There was nobody that was not involved in this deal.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. On one side, it made me sensitive to, what? Screw the concealed weapon. Let's just have an open carry. If it's going to work, and here's the thing, 2 days later, or this week, 2 guys were shot dead in an alley over on Michigan Avenue, of which somebody said, that's always been a ghetto. Yeah, Santa Monica's had a huge ghetto for its entire life.
Oh, yeah.
It's where black people live and Hispanic people live. Mainly those that didn't work for the aircraft companies during the war and after. My next door neighbors were the Ponces, Mexican American, as Hispanic American as you could possibly be, living next to everybody else they worked at Douglas in Santa Monica, and you'd have to grow up in Santa Monica to know for what appears to be a very lily white community. Actually, where Rob and I grew up is a very homogeneous, multiracial, very diverse community.
Yeah. We were we were on the wrong side of the railroad tracks, is what we were always told.
Well, but I moved to the right side of the railroad tracks when I was a junior in high school, and it wasn't so right. I still go back to the same barber, Hispanically owned barbershop that has been there since 1955, between 22nd and 23rd on Pico Boulevard.
I can't think. My very first job in life was sweeping the floor at the barbershop where my dad and I got our haircuts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the very first job. I got 25 cents.
It's so ridiculous. I looked because I wanted their phone number, so I went on, on my phone, and they're I was amazing to see these guys. You can't make an appointment.
Yeah.
You just have to go there and wait.
Yeah. Oh,
but wow, did they give you a great haircut?
Well, that's the way it always was. I can't remember when it changed, how many years ago, but I always remember as a kid, we never made an appointment. You went in, you sat down in the barber shop, you picked up a magazine.
Read car books.
Yeah, you looked at the car magazines, you talked, everybody was talking about stuff. It was a social period of time while you're getting your haircut. It's totally different now. Totally different. I don't know how many people remember that. I do. I fondly remember that.
To relate that, us both growing up in Santa Monica, on that side of town, and this shooter thing started on Yorkshire, which is over by Stewart, right on the eastern border of Santa Monica, underneath the 10.
Yeah.
Actually, it's where Laura Fallon and her family lived over there. Something nobody knows. Hi, Laura. I hope you're watching. But it is again, mixed community. It's that center corridor, Olympic Pico in Santa Monica, which had a diverse ethnic background. But I forget where I was going with this, but our hometown in many aspects has not changed unless you go there now, and the Metro Rail is cutting through Santa Monica. And it looks like that old poster of Santa Monica falling in, or California falling into the sea.
Yeah.
It is this giant concrete thing that's cutting down the Pico Olympic corridor. That's going to dump everybody off at Santa Monica Beach that wants to go to the beach. Yikes.
I haven't seen that.
You know,
I haven't been back home in a long time, so.
Next time you go, you'll be. You know, this is a diverse community of 100 and some thousand, but they're trying to take the available space and up the population and numbers. And the People's Republic of Santa Monica and rent control, and it's just crazy. But the fact is that
property owners did it to themselves in rent control. That's another. That's another topic.
Well, but here's the deal. What I was going for. That the Santa Monica College thing happened. This guy was troubled. He was going to Olympic High School. He went to a psychiatrist. He was learning how to make pipe bombs. He was threatening teachers, students, administration at Olympic High School. You know, he's going to blow them up. And when he was younger, was a troubled guy.
Yeah.
But I think it was yesterday, Monday or Tuesday, 2 guys got shot in an alley on Michigan. That's how we kind of started out with this deal.
Mm-hmm.
And the perpetrator got away. It was a drive-by. And they were and if there would be gang activity in Santa Monica, it would be in the Olympic corridor.
Right.
And that's when I got to thinking, when my roommate said, you know, if there would have been a good guy with a gun, this would have never happened. You know, I'm beginning to think, and you know, I sent that article to that little blog post from Kirk Douglas, who said it's not Cowboy America anymore. But in many ways, I don't know, because the main folks, if you don't know, the crime issues in America are recidivist criminals and gangs. They are everywhere. They are virulent. They are a part of our society. They are no good. We are failing at family. And the 2 Santa Monica examples, I mean, this kid shot his dad and his older brother first, then he set the house on fire, and then he went on the rampage. We are failing at family. And that's why kids are joining gangs, because they need somebody that cares about them.
Right.
And they're convinced by the gang that they care about them. It's familia. It's not. It's an effing gang is what it is. And they participate. And here's the deal. We're talking about data and ATM cards and your unemployment and your transfer payments. Everything comes on an ATM card. It's no longer a check. It's no longer cash. You have to go to the bank and get the cash. So they're tracking your transactions. But, you know, if everybody could just strap one on, and there were guys everywhere, good guys, you know, good guys, bad guys. But I'm beginning to think that's the only way that maybe you bring this gang thing under control. The problem is, if a good guy shoots a gang guy, you had a gang problem. I mean, they're coming to your house. I've realized in teaching that if you get after a guy and he's in a gang, you could find your car destroyed. You could be jumped and beat to death, or close to it, as a teacher.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a discipline conflict with somebody that's in a gang. If you get after them, you could be buying a whole lot more grief than you ever wanted. And that's where the problem lies.
Right.
We have a lawless sub-society that is spawned by this prison network, and people in, people out, people in, people out, people in, people out. They don't get you on the street. When you get arrested, you're going to have to gang up when you get to the facility. As I told you, I was reprimanded and then terminated because I didn't separate the gang guys. I didn't know who the gang guys were to separate, but the probation department did, and they figured I should know. A basic huge problem, and it's secondary to the shooter in Santa Monica, is the gangs. We've got to do something to get that under control, because it is the biggest source of lawlessness. The Chicago people being shot willy-nilly left and right are people that, you know what, they're not participating in the electronic society, and those they're a subculture that are flying under the radar.
The gang issue has been one that's been going on for a long time. And it is an example of when you talk about family, because I grew up in a great family situation, the typical ma, pa, 50s, family type of situation. But what we've got is we've got children having children. And with this issue, there is no family. And as you succinctly put it, they're turning to the gangs thinking that's going to be the substitution for family. But we both know the only thing it does is involve them in violence and drugs and prostitution and everything else that's involved with it. And
right.
So there's the whole series of things that need to be addressed. And in some places, little steps are being taken. Chicago's working very hard on some of their gang problems. I know Detroit, very serious gang situations. They're working like crazy.
Detroit's a dead city.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful, and it's so controlled by gangs there. I mean, I don't know why. I can't imagine why anybody lives there. It's beyond me. But so here's the situation we've got. We've got gangs because of all the societal problems that we're not addressing.
Well, and also part of the fact is, and I've said this before, when people talk about entitlements, because what's happening is, people in their 30s and 40s are living with their parents, or they're ganged up, and their parents are raising their kids for them,
right?
Because they're in and out of the joint.
Yeah, grandma and grandpa are raising most of the kids, that are left,
and they deserve not to have. They should be able to shower love and affection on their kids and then take them the hell home.
Yeah,
they already did that once.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But when you have 14, 15, 16-year-old girls having children,
and I submit to you, Rob, that part of the problem is, and it's evidenced by the problem of rape in the military.
Right. Oh,
We've had people that do not understand what's right and what's wrong.
You are so right on. That is a topic that I've got some people that I know that have a family member in that very situation. Very serious, almost swept under the rug problem going on with the military. And the whole issue of, do we keep these violent, sexual-oriented crimes left in the hands of the military, or do we bring them into the civilian courts and deal with it?
Well, but here's part of the issue. Okay? And I'm not blaming anybody. It's just, you have to, being a historian, I always, look back and see, where's that train coming from? In the Iraqi war, we waived the fact you could go in the military, in our voluntary military, and be a felon.
Yes.
In Vietnam, you know as well as I do that if you were Hispanic or African American and you were in court and you were convicted, the judge would look at you and say, okay,
here's your choice.
Would you like to go to jail, or would you like to enlist in the service?
Right.
And our military, and the reports of the sexual abuse at the military academies is like totally unacceptable. Those are supposed to be our finest. And if they don't have respect for another person, male, female, or otherwise, they aren't our finest.
No. And you know what? I'm going to take one step and say the military has the same issue we do in society, and we were talking about gangs. There are gangs in the military. I've done some reading on the SEAL teams that every now and then are lucky enough to go on an aircraft carrier. And from the people that I know that have served on aircraft carriers, they said it's probably one of the scariest posts they've ever had in their lives because of gangs on these huge 3,000, 4,000 people numbers on these ships. And he says it's frightening. And every now and then when they're lucky enough to get the real elite SEAL teams in there, they let them loose. They fix the gang. They fix the gang problems.
But here's the deal, okay? This is the difference between conscription, that's the draft, boys and girls, and of all volunteer army. To put enough suits and boots together, you have to expand the parameters of standards. Okay?
You mean literalized?
I think as a reasonable choice, I think that if you don't get in school, if you don't get a meaningful job, if you're, children, okay, then we're going to teach you how to be an adult and responsible. You're coming in the military, and we're going to take you. We're going to conscript you. You're an American citizen. I mean, that's why I like the DREAM Act. You either go to school or you go to the military.
Right.
And go to school when you get out of the military. People at 18 years old are not always career-oriented, but the military teaches you how to stand proud, or did, be a quality individual, get your S together. Otherwise, you're going to get your butt kicked.
Yeah, and that's the way it was. But something obviously has truly changed, because they're admitting to, and I've been reading numbers on this. They being the military admitting to, and I love the way they put it. To our knowledge, there is only 26,000 sexual abuse cases in the military. That's literally the way it was put.
Over what period of time? Is that in a year's time? I mean, what's the time?
In a year's time.
26,000, and ladies and gentlemen, these are the highest percentage is male rape.
Yeah.
Because it's mainly men, and that's a power trip.
Right.
I don't think that's homosexual. That is a prison type power trip.
Right.
I could make a joke that I'm not going to make, but the thing of it is, people are so, and Rob, I'm in the schools every day. I live in a very conservative community. I mean, where I live would make one of those up in the hills guys look like a Democrat by comparison to the majority of the population of where I live in Central California. I mean, the two bastions of liberalism are Los Angeles and San Francisco. The Central Valley of the state is about as conservative as you're going to find. But those people also came from the Midwest. Their roots are, related to agricultural America. They also enlist into military service, much more highly than people in urban areas. But the tribalism, the tattoos, the ear discs, the nose piercings of our youth, all that is very tribal, and they're very, we used to hey bro and all that kind of stuff, but there's a different energy amongst the youth of America, and it is very tribal. There's no other way to describe it. And that a kid at 18 years old can be so covered with tattoos and piercings and an ear disc, that is bigger than my earphone is. And you go, and is he going to get a regular job?
Possibly. He's probably a great programmer.
Believe me, none of them, a very low percentage of them, to my experience, have been innately bright. That doesn't mean they don't have skills, but a lot of these skills, where I live, there are guys that are friends that get in fights with one another.
Yeah, just
to prove
for fun.
Their superiority.
Yeah.
And remain friends.
I know.
And that's just uncalled for interpersonal violence.
Yeah. I don't have an understanding of that. I've seen it. I've seen these shows where they go, "Hey, let's fight. It's fun." What? It's like,
it's not okay.
It's not okay.
All right.
We have so many.
Remember when we talked about after World War I or World War II, you could get a Garand rifle.
Yes.
If you took a safety course.
Yes.
You've almost got me to the point of saying, okay, maybe if everybody is standing around has got a Glock 9 and the weapon is obviously there, right? Because the issue is, and it makes absolute sense, where you live, if you didn't have weapons, you might as well just be naked.
That's true.
Because if somebody comes up to your house, which is in a beautiful part of the foothills and the forest, and wants to commit mayhem on you and your family, 911 ain't going to work.
Nope. 911. And our own sheriff tells you that, when help is needed in seconds, they're only minutes away. So, that tells you itself. He says, you got to depend on yourself.
And I was impressed that Santa Monica Police Department, whomever, dropped this guy within 15 minutes of his rampage.
Right.
I was pretty impressed by that. It seems that the law enforcement might have worked there, but or four people.
I'll tell you what. Who I was really impressed with was the chief of police of the Santa Monica Police Department. An
African American woman is the chief of police of Santa Monica.
She scared me on the television looking at her. I mean, holy cow!
That's a no-nonsense lady.
Oh,
that's who you want running your police.
You got that right. You can tell she is from dress, attitude, and everything. She has got one sharp setup there with that department.
And folks, when Rob and I grew up in Santa Monica, and this is the part that's missing, Rob. I, was out running around in cars and, causing all kinds of nonsense and stuff like that. And one night I am out raising hell in the car and racing people and all this kind of stuff. I got home and my father was waiting for me and he goes, "The cops called." And you were out raising hell in that goddamn car.
Yeah. And they let the parent do the parenting. And that's
right.
They
expected,
that's right.
That your parents would say, not acceptable behavior in this household. Thank you.
Kids have more control.
So you give me the keys, whatever, and but it was, oh man, your parents, because your parents cared about you.
Right.
They cared about your family name. They cared about, and this is the thing. That's why I was going to where this thing started. Everybody in the neighborhood that they queried didn't know anything about these people that have lived there for a long time.
Right.
It didn't used to be in America, let alone Santa Monica, that you didn't know your neighbors up and down the whole GD block.
You knew your whole block, yeah. Absolutely.
Everybody, oh yeah, those folks, yeah, nice folks. I talked to them, you'd walk the street.
It's like we talk about, we used to ride our bicycles at night. We used to go, we used to go to see friends. It is the typical 50s, 60s family situation we grew up with. Thank God, because I'm not sure what in the world I would do now. Paul and I made the decision to bring the kids up here and to raise our children up in this area to get out of that mentality.
Look, and just down the hill in Sacramento, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
I was there,
There's serious gang problems in Sacramento. Serious
gang problems everywhere, Rob.
Yeah. Well, I talked to a gang guy one time, and I don't know if we were in DMV or something, and you could tell he was in the gang. And all right, so we got talking. I said, all right, tell me what this gang thing's all about. And he went on the family shit and all that. And I said, well, why don't you just get a regular job? And he looked at me and he said, so you want me to go flip burgers at McDonald's for $4.50 an hour, where I can go stand on the street corner, sell my crack, and make $3,000 in a day? Huh. Well, okay, monetarily, maybe it makes sense.
That's the issue of, which really comes down to our generation, that our drug consumption, I say to kids, look, when I was your age, it was a felony.
That's right.
And we have a couple of good buddies that, because it was Santa Monica, because their parents were, and they got busted with some pot. But it was serious business.
Yeah.
Now, it's a ticket. Who doesn't have a 214 card? I mean, everybody smokes pot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you give somebody a 214 card, I had a situation at the music festival when I was down there. And one of my friends was consuming product from a store, and he's got a 214 card, and the cops came. I mean, the timing was such that it didn't turn into an incident, but I was kind of interested to see what would have happened. If he, showed him that it was purchased and he had the right to purchase it.
Well,
I don't, and this
it depends on which
creates
law enforcement agencies he's going to be involved with. Most of the locals do just exactly that. It's less than an ounce, it's a ticket, and don't do it in public and go away.
If you have a 214 card, I don't think there's much they can do.
Yeah, well, but the feds don't recognize the 214 card. So
no, you don't have a federal job.
No.
You know, state jobs, you have to take and that's a crazy thing. You're subject to a urine test and a state job, but it's the state issues a card and says it's.
Yeah.
And somebody said to me, I said, what do you have to do to get one of those? And I said, I have chronic pain. He goes, that's enough.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, it takes nothing to do that. And you know what? If it helps people, do it. If I think we've gone in the wrong direction in some of this drug stuff, but that's a topic for another day. Jonathan just gave me the countdown.
Yeah, we're right on it.
We're on an hour here, folks. Thank you to the 8 people that have been watching us now. Nobody called. I guess I didn't call the number. I'm bad. I do want to thank, we had a donation last week. Thank you, Don Franzi, for giving us a donation. That's kept our lights on for a little bit longer. It was very kind. Remember, you can always go to our website and click on that donate button. That helps keep us going. And I'm going to say, see you next time. This is Rob Charney, John Manajestic, John Charney. This is Opinion versus Opinion. We'll see you later.